You're 11 years old. Hits it hard on the ground to the shortstop, Holtorf, and a quick 1-2-3 inning. Club does his job.
All right, so I want to make a video assuming that your coach has put you at shortstop and you really have no idea how to actually play the position. Perhaps you've taken a bunch of ground balls and you're pretty good at making the throw, but you don't actually know the ins and outs of the position. So this video is geared towards that. Let's take a look at probably the first thing that you should know, which is where to go. I find that this is one of the most challenging things for all positions, is where do you go and in which situations do you go there? So this right here is standard infield depth. And if you notice number 6, which is the shortstop, he's pretty far back, almost maybe a step or two in from that grass right there. And he's pretty far away from that second base. Look at that distance between there. That's because right-handed batters are going to do something called pulling the ball, which is where they hit it to that left side of the field. And it's the most common spot for the ball to go. There's a lot to the positioning, actually, as to how deep you go, what are the trade-offs about going deep versus going shallow, and as well as double play depth. So let's go back to that video that we saw just to open up, and let's take a look at where the shortstop is playing.
You're 11 years old. Hits it hard on the ground to
So
the
if we
shortstop.
look right here, this is about that standard positioning. And you're going to play right about there when there's nobody on any of the bases. So nobody on, ball hits to the shortstop, you take a crow's hop right there, find your timing and rhythm, build some momentum, and throw it to first. Now, there is a time when that changes, and that's when there's a runner at first base. You get into what's called double play depth. And if you're just kind of casually looking at this chart, it might look kind of similar. But you notice both number 6, the shortstop, and number 4, the second baseman, are cheating a little bit. They're playing it a little bit closer towards second base. And that's because of one of the primary responsibilities of the, quote, middle infield, which is shortstop and second base, is going to be turning double plays. So if the ball is hit to the shortstop, you need to go run over, put your foot on the bag, your right foot on the bag, collect the ball, and then make the throw over towards first base. Additionally, especially at the youth level, where pass balls are very common, it's going to be the shortstop's responsibility to cover second base in the event of a steal. And if you're playing so far back in this area here, you won't make it there in time. As a matter of fact, when we did our scrimmage game, we had one instance where the shortstop didn't really make it there in time for a play at all. It would have been safe either way. But it's important for the steal and for the double play. Let's take a look at what I was saying right there. Let's go to this one here, which is covering the steal. And in this case, our shortstop is playing at a really good depth, double play depth, to make it closer for the steal and for the double play. So that was a pretty good job. I want you to notice, like, the shortstop, he's just playing slightly out of frame and only has a few steps to go to get to that bag, and he's well ahead of the runner, so he can position himself. He sees that the throw is short, and he's able to make the adjustment. So that's one example of double play depth helping you for steals. Now, let's watch a few double plays. Actually, you know what? Let's look at some instruction on the double play as far as the shortstop turning the double play. So this is going to be a 4-6-3, meaning they hit it to the number 4, the second baseman, who throws it to the shortstop, number 6, and then goes to number 3, the first baseman. So this would be your responsibility there.
I set up. Here comes the throw. Ball's out here. I take my left foot this way. I catch, I go right to left, left to target, and I'm in line to throw. Okay, that footwork, we've talked about that before. That footwork will get you ready to throw to first base no matter where the ball is. Okay, so again, I get here early, I get the ball, I see the ball, I take my left foot to the ball, I catch, right to left, left to target.
And throw. That's a really good example. You'll need to be very prepared for that and work with your second baseman on turning those double plays. Let's take a look at different double plays done at the Little League level. We'll take a look at 3.
9 hitter is Jackson Schufelt. He's the right fielder, 2 for 7. This could be a double play. The flip to second, to first. Yes, Maggard and Clay work it. And they needed that. They avoid the top of the order.
So that is a really, really good example of what I was talking about. Let's go back and look at this double play.
Schufelt,
So
he's
this
the right
was
fielder.
6-4-3 double play. So look at where the shortstop is playing and second baseman. Notice how he's not very in between second and third, if you want to think of it like that. He's cheating a little bit. So when he fields the ball, most of the time, if you don't have to move too much, you're going to do an underhanded flip to the second baseman. Second baseman has slightly different footwork. He doesn't do it the way that I normally like to do it as far as the footwork, but that's okay. It was really well done overall. So very nice job. And we get to see that double play
For
back.
7.
Let's take a look at another one.
The ground is short, maybe 2. The flip, the throw to first.
Really good. Let's take a look at this one. So here it almost looks identical. The batter is able to hit the ball, and the positioning of the shortstop is very evident right now. He's already in double play depth. Second baseman's making a hurry over towards second base. You collect the ball, underhanded flip. He catches and turns the double play. Very nice. Let's take a look at one more.
Pulled on the ground to De Leon. He starts it. Varela turns it. It's 2.
You know how hard that is right there and how smooth that is right there. God, he looks like a double-A shortstop.
So let's take a look at this one, because this shortstop was not in double play depth, and that's okay. There might be reasons for that. Perhaps you know that the batter is really keen on pulling the ball a little bit more. And if you need to go over to get the ball, or if you're just positioned not in double play depth, you might need to do an overhand throw. And usually they're not as overhand as what I suggested. I'm just saying not a flip. You usually throw it in a little bit more sidearm, because your hand is already low from collecting the ball, from fielding the ball, and it's a little bit faster. This shortstop does the footwork that I like for second base, which is the left foot on the bag. And then throws, first baseman makes the stretch. So very nice. We saw 3 examples of the 6-4-3 double play. And let's take a look at the other way around, because double plays, they're going to be everywhere. So this is a 4-6-3, the one that I showed the instruction of, so I probably should have flipped the order on that. So this is where the second baseman fields it first, and where that instruction I showed you to begin with is really going to play out.
Ground ball hit to second. Mora flips to short for 1. Turner on to first. Double play. The force.
This one was exceptional, and I want to show you why it was exceptional. So the shortstop is playing close enough to where he can get to that bag. Notice he's already running from double play depth. The second baseman fields it also in double play depth, and he does a flip. Now, I want you to remember that footwork. Your right foot is going to hit the edge of the bag, and then that runner is coming in with a slide, so you need to step to the side and then throw, and you really need to go quickly, because double plays are always what you call bang bang, meaning it hits the glove and the runner's foot hits the bag. So it's a really nice example of a 4-6-3 with a flip. Let's take a look at another one. This one is labeled as overhand.
On the ground to second. Oh, Oh, a snare job by Wolf. Zurich, double play.
So this is the play that you live for. In some of the other videos, I'm trying to make it clear, like, this is the play that you live for as an outfielder, throwing out runners at home on a one-hop to the cut guy. This is the play that you live for as a shortstop, turning double plays. So let's take a look here. Probably second base, they're both in double play depth. Second base probably should have flipped it, but he didn't, and that's fine. He had time. He's waiting for the shortstop to come over. Shortstop touches the, hopefully back. He's kind of on it, but he touches with his right foot, gets out of the way of the baseline in the slide, and then unloads on a throw because it's going to be close, and there's your bang bang. Really, if you bobble it, even for a second, if it's not smooth, you're not going to turn the double play. Let's look at one more because these are so fun.
2 strikes. And this one on the ground could be 2. Van Bell gets it, throws in time. Big double play as Farner hits Van Bell, who throws to LaForest.
Really cool. Fun to see. These are all Little Leaguers. This is the Little League World Series. Let's take a look at this. For whatever reason, we're a little bit more towards standard depth, I'd say. But you see the shuffle step over. He had to go over to get the ball. And there's like an invisible line in between you and second base. And beyond that line towards third base, you're going to overhand it. And on or before it, you'll flip it. So here he fields the ball. Look at that sidearm throw. That's a very infield throw because it's very quick. Second baseman is just arriving at the bag. Does a good job getting out of the baseline. Throwing just for a bang-bang play. You have to practice this a lot as middle infielders. That's why it took so much time right now to show you the double play, both 6-4-3 and 4-6-3, is that this is where you live and breathe, really. And I started with the positioning because it starts with putting yourself in a good position to be able to do this. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the depth at which you play. Let's go back to the chart here. This is a pretty good compromise between like not playing too far, not playing too deep. But really, it's better if you can play a little bit further towards the grass. But there's a trade-off. What the benefit of playing basically with your feet on the grass is that you have what's called more range. You're able to react right or left on hard hit balls, and you're able to get to those balls that you couldn't get to if you were a little bit closer. The negative part about that is you have to have an extremely strong arm to play on the grass or on even into the grass. So you probably at our level right now want to play a few steps in from the grass unless you really think you have a cannon. The other thing is you have to be very quick. A lot of the time in Little League and rec ball, they hit the ball kind of soft, and you will need to sprint to collect those soft hit balls because if you wait for them to get to you, that runner is going to be already over at first base. So that's the thing. If you play deeper, you got to be ready to sprint, or if it's a little bit harder hit, you have to get ready to unload on a throw. I want to give you a few examples of that at the Little League level. It's pretty cool. Let's see how playing a little deeper increases your range.
He's ready to go again. Thornburg, diving catch and a game saver. William Satinoff with a web gem to keep him alive. The two veterans on this team, Rhodes and Satinoff, get the job done in the bottom of the sixth.
That's a really fun play. You can feel the energy. So let's analyze this without the energy. So he's playing, look at his initial depth, right from his first read on the ball. He's almost at that grass level. And if he was playing closer, he would have no chance on this ball. It would get behind him. But he's able to take those 4 or 5 steps and make a diving play. And this is something else that needs to be mentioned here. You've been put at shortstop because the coach feels that you're one of or the most athletic kid on the field, given the tools that he has in this situation based on who's pitching and catching. So you really can't let any ball get by you without a fight. So you're going to get dirty on a lot of these plays. You really need to get it in your mind that you're almost like a hockey goalie and ball cannot get by you, otherwise it scores. So that's an example of just the range that it gives you. Now, let's go over something else. Let's go over that charging a softly hit ball, because I mentioned that, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. So let's have a look.
Did a really cool thing he was telling me about before the game with hats that he made. Can you show me the hat that Kakoa made to fundraise to...
So this one is fairly routine. This wasn't super challenging, but if you notice in the lower right, you don't even see the shortstop anywhere. So when the ball is hit soft, the shortstop needs to sprint in and really collect that ball. Because if he waits for the ball to come midway through the dirt or to the end of the dirt, if you have a fast runner, it could be quite a bit of a problem. So you have to be fast on those soft hit balls if you're playing a little bit more deep. And this kind of brings in the conversation. Perhaps you can adjust slightly depending on who's at bat. If you got somebody that hits the ball hard, back up just a little bit. If you have somebody that's a little bit, doesn't hit the ball hard, he's known for weak ground balls, come in a few steps because you know you're likely going to need to charge it. All right, now these are the really exciting ones. A throw from that deep position, sometimes referred to as deep in the hole. These are all little leaguers, majors level, so 12U, so what you'll graduate into. Same size field. Let's take a look.
That one is ripped. Oh, stopped by the shortstop, Philibot. Got a nice play at first base. Wow. Chase Philibot at shortstop with a terrific play.
So this is both an example of range because he didn't have all that much time. It was a hard hit ball and he needed to react to get over there. If you are playing more shallow, that ball gets by you. It gets in between the short and third baseman. And if you're here, that is a very long throw. Your back foot is on the edge of the grass and you really need to throw hard. Otherwise, you are not going to catch that runner. So what are we talking about in miles an hour? That's probably, I would say, in the low 50 mile an hour range in order to make that play. So we can put it in some absolute metrics. So he did everything perfectly. Yeah, so I'm guessing 50. Now these are a little bit more elite. So this might not be as achievable for us right now, but it still kind of helps illustrate the give and take that you have with range, arm strength, charging ground balls as it relates to how and where you play. Let's take a look.
On the ground, it's the shortstop and a long, hard throw. Out at first base. Lancaster fired to get Tal Purcell.
So this one's pretty great. So first, this is from Hawaii in 2022. Probably the best Little League team ever assembled that's won a World Series, a Little League World Series title. They are amazing, and particularly this shortstop is amazing as well. So a hard hit ball, he's able to range and find it. He actually fields it really well, nice soft hands in collecting it. He is well onto the grass. And even though this is a hard hit ball, he has such a limited amount of time. He doesn't really have a great grip on the ball and throws. So I want you to see this throw in real time because that's how hard you would need to throw it to play this deep. Watch this in real time.
On the ground, it's the shortstop and a long, hard throw.
So just as far as miles per hour, this throw is probably in the range of 68, 67, 69, around in there. So that's not really achievable for us at this moment in time for our age, but we can still understand the trade-off for that. So take a look. It's so beautiful.
On the ground, it's the shortstop and a long, hard throw. Out at first base, Lancaster.
So these are fun to watch. Let's look at another one.
Away from his family and his older sister. No.
Oh, we got him.
So this one is also the same team, Hawaii, which is the powerhouse in our region. By the way, if we win our All-Star tournament and then win all of the sections above that, and then we finally get to represent Southern California, we're in what's called the West region. And the West region includes Northern California, Southern California, Arizona, and importantly, Hawaii is in that region, and they got to be the favorites coming in. They have an amazing, amazing team. And this is a different shortstop. Let's look again and analyze.
Older sister.
So this ball is a base hit all day. The hitter did all of his work. He hit it in between the third and short position, but because he's playing so far back, look at that initial playing spot. He's playing several steps in standard position, several steps beyond the grass, so he's not towards second base. He ranges over, reaction time on a hard hit ball. He fields it, and then this throw is a very, very hard and accurate throw. And if he doesn't make it hard and accurate, that runner is going to be safe all day long. What would I estimate this throw to be at? This is going to be in the low 60s. So this is probably 62, 63, something like that. And for reference, on our team, AAA, the max that we have on our team is 50. All right, let's do one more just because they're so fun. Having fun with this shortstop video.
And that one's in the hole, no way. Up quickly, got him again.
Great. I love the excitement. That's why Little League World Series gets so many views on ESPN. It's just so pure, the passion. So he hits the ball very hard. This is a base hit. This is a very good thing to understand. The third baseman is often going to take a stab at these. You see how he dives? And we as the shortstop need to not get distracted by it. It's his job to try and make that play a little shorter, to field it a little bit in. And that third baseman can be distracting. He backhands it, and you heard the announcer say, from deep in the hole. That's what that's called. He's 2-3 steps behind the grass, and he throws a hard and accurate throw and gets him out by a long margin on an exceptionally difficult play. That is why your coach has put you at shortstop, because he believes in your potential in the future to do something like that. Watch that.
And that one's in the hole, no way. Up quickly, got him again.
That's why I said in the hole, and then he's like, no way, because it's slightly backhanded, deep in the hole, that throw, that's really good. So I do have one more video that kind of links into what I said. It's that third baseman is hopefully, if it's hit softly enough and towards the third base side, you don't need to backhand a soft throw charging it that the third baseman can almost like cut the ball off there. But sometimes that ends as a distraction. So I want to show you right here.
Nebraska on the ground, sharply deep in the hole, backhanded, You bet.
You see, it's basically the same thing that we've been looking at. I just saved it a little differently. That third baseman is trying to range over and make the play. He's getting dirty, as he should. So the shortstop needs to showcase his range with a backhand, and then right on the grass from deep in the hole, he makes the play. You do not have a lot of time. So these are the types of plays that you, as far as the infield, should be prepared for. Now, there are some other responsibilities as far as being a cut man. So I want you to look at the cuts and relays video to understand that you're the cut man going into third base throw, as well as routine cuts on a single towards the left field side. So go ahead and watch cuts and relays to fully understand your role as shortstop.